Honestly, I was never allowed to meet him until my sister's approval. And finally, we kind of convinced her. And today we have so many things to talk about. And guys, before we get onto the podcast, all right, this takes about 10 seconds. If you are new on the channel, guys, click the subscribe button and turn on the notifications, guys. I know you're going to forget. This is a 2-hour podcast. So just do it right now while you're watching, because we are going to have a part 2. Write down your questions in the description box that you want me to ask. So first of all, how are you doing, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm surviving. I'm good.
How's life been treating you? Because obviously you had the whole fame, the most Googled man on earth, suddenly banned, and just how did you deal with that whole commotion?
I guess for some people it would be devastating to be, the most Googled man in the world, then banned, but then I stayed the most Googled man in the world. So I guess it would have been an emotional roller coaster for some people. But all in all, you just take one day at a time, and there's work to do, and you just stay true to your mission. It's been pretty good. It's been wild, certainly entertaining. When they lie about you at length, like they did for me, especially in mainstream news, when they tell you so many lies that people's sisters randomly hate you for no reason, then I guess that can be a detriment. That can be a problem to deal with. But I understood that the truth will soon come out and people will soon realize that I'm actually a nice guy. And their attempt to destroy me has backfired now, and it's just destroyed their own credibility in the eyes of many people. So I think it's been pretty good in terms of damaging the mainstream media machine. All in all, I'm happy.
You're happy. Surely you must have got affected a little bit. It wasn't there at one point where like, you know what, I hate this.
I wouldn't say no. That never ever crossed my mind. I understood that in the pursuit of greatness, there's going to be obstacles and it's going to be difficult. It's kind of like climbing Mount Everest, right? You're halfway up and then a snowstorm comes. Obviously, nobody wants to be in the snowstorm. Obviously, it's uncomfortable, but you have to semi-expect it and you have to get to the top. So all you can do is put one foot in front of the other and keep on going. For me, it was just a matter of making sure that we managed to fall out effectively, which we did. Flip it on its head, which we did. Become more successful in spite of it, which we've done. And there's always work to do. And as long as there's work to do, there's no time to sit around and mope. You just have to get up and fight.
So you talk a lot about the Matrix. They're trapping me. They're attacking me. Who is the Matrix?
The Matrix is have you seen the movie?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, so in the movie The Matrix, we're in a computer-controlled reality, right? They've projected a false reality into people's minds to entertain them while their bodies are being exploited by the machines. And it's very similar here in the real world. You are inside of a reality which is false. It doesn't necessarily have to be computer controlled, but it's certainly media influenced.
But who controls it?
The people who are behind the media machine, the people who are in charge of the world, which are also behind the governments. And the point I'm making when I say the Matrix is they will tell you false versions of reality. They will tell you things that simply aren't true so that you believe in lies to keep yourself and your mind distracted while your body is being exploited for work. And it's exactly the same thing as the movie itself. We can sit and discuss and go through conspiracy theories of who I believe these people are. But the truth is, you have to understand there's very influential people out there in the world with massive amounts of money, massive amounts of influence.
Yeah.
And they're trying to push certain agendas and ideals on the population because why wouldn't they?
But I kind of want to know, who do you think they are?
Yeah, you said you might know. Is that true?
You guys are going to try and get me suicided. You're going to try and get me in
Because
trouble.
I feel like you know a lot more than we would know
Yeah,
about
it
the whole
sounds
Matrix system. So who do you think is behind it?
Well,
you
I know a lot more than I even say. But let me give you a simple example of it, right? So if you have a company, you have a podcasting business, let's say.
Okay.
If you hire a member of staff who doesn't agree with you and doesn't do as you say and doesn't listen to you, you're going to fire him.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to want people to listen to you because you're in charge and you have influence. So if there's people who print money and they're literally in charge of banks and in charge of governments and they own the world, whatever they believe, whatever their influence, whatever their worldview is, they want to purport that and propagate that on the population, on the planet. And that's what happens where we have these ideas which are very heavily defended, and certain ideas which are not allowed to be discussed, and a false reality which exists in which conversations cannot be open, dialect cannot be open, certain things must be accepted as fact, certain things can't be discussed at all. And this all comes from the top. This is not an accident. This comes from very powerful people trying to push a worldview on the populace.
Do you think Bill Gates is part of the Matrix?
I think that Bill Gates is an extremely rich, influential person who certainly has had a role to play in certain agendas across the last few years.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of, you're thinking of it more as a small select room of people who are trying to control their world like a superhero movie.
Yeah.
It could be like that, but it's not like that. What it is you have very influential people with a lot of power, with a lot of resource, who are interested in creating slave minds amongst the general populace because they don't want to upset their very fortunate position in the world.
Yeah.
So there is a genuine and obvious agenda to attack masculinity as a whole, for example. The idea of masculinity, they like the idea of that being attacked. There's also obvious attempts to accelerate certain other ideas, whether, especially in the West, right? Yeah. The idea of children changing gender or putting sex in children's movies like Disney, etc. This is not conspiracy theories. This is all very obvious.
Yeah.
People are pushing these agendas, and they're pushing them for a reason. And it's very powerful people who are doing it, and they're trying to destroy the morality and certainly the resolve of the general populace, the general people, because they want to keep their very fortunate positions, and that's what's happening.
So, like, these people, are they like public figures, or they're pretty low key people?
You're still thinking of it as in regards to who the people are, and I understand why you're asking that question. I think you just need to understand that the people who are truly in charge of the world are sitting and saying, what is most advantageous to us?
Yeah.
Is it more advantageous to us if people are semi-depressed, self-obsessed, selfish, don't care about their neighbor, have no morality, atheistic, and will absorb anything they're told without any kind of resistance? Or is it better for us if they think for themselves and they're critically thinking and they believe in religion and they want to do good to God? And the truth is, in the West at least, it's the first answer to the things they're interested in. And I don't think these people are publicly known. I don't think they're well known, no. I think there's families that have been in charge of the world for a very long time.
And they put like faces up front so they don't...
Puppets.
They put puppets in front completely. And these people are beyond money. Like even during the coronavirus pandemic, a lot of people were saying, oh, you know, I agree, Andrew, it's all a scam. They're doing it for money. And I said, no, that's a very optimistic way to look at the world. They're not doing it for money. These people are beyond money.
They have enough money.
They print money. They don't care about money. It's about power. It's about control. It's about influence. And it's about having enough people do as you say regardless. And it's an interesting time of humanity we're living in, because now we have the internet. And there's supposed to be free speech, but there's certainly more free information. And I feel like a lot of people's minds are slowly waking up to the fact that a lot of the things you're told on the traditional news is a lie. The traditional media machine is nothing but a propaganda machine. And they're trying very hard to still keep control over us and keep influence over us. And they're doing that by, especially with the way societies work, especially with the way relationships work, with the way the children go to school, certain things they're keeping a very tight grip on because they know it's very important for their power and their propaganda machine.
All right, you said one thing. You were like, how nowadays it's like this whole gender identity and stuff like that, and you know how they spread messages. You saw recently the whole Balenciaga scandal.
Yep.
What do you think about that?
I know, well, I can tell you what I think about it. It's very obvious they're trying to tell the world they're pedophilic. They're trying to tell the world. Would you agree? Would you agree?
I mean, definitely.
Go on, sorry.
I mean, it was definitely like a very controversial thing, but like, how did they get that wrong? Isn't that bad for their brand?
I'm going to try and pin you down and make you say it. Are they trying to tell the world they're pedophilic? Yes or no?
I honestly don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
You do know. Why are you scared to say? This is the problem. Everyone's afraid to say it.
Definitely, that's what it shows. But the thing is, I wasn't sure. Like, okay, this is what I was thinking. Could it be possibly? Okay, look. Obviously, I'm totally against what I saw as well.
Okay.
But like when they were saying that, you know, they didn't see it, like, because there's different teams handling.
Oh yeah, of course.
And sometimes you do realize, like, okay, we have our own like company as well. But like sometimes, like just by looking away for a second, sometimes the people just do their own thing.
This was not one photo shoot or one advertising campaign that happened to have one thing in it which could be misconstrued. This is every single different advertising campaign across different film shoots by different companies, all having multiple references to pedophilia.
So it wasn't a mistake?
No. So how could it be a mistake? What's the statistical odds of that being a mistake? It is obviously on purpose. Are they trying to tell you they're pedophilic? Yes or no?
I mean, pedophilic.
Just say yes. This is the exact problem with the world. The exact problem with the world is that people who are sitting here with influence are afraid to have a firm opinion on anything because they're scared of being canceled. Balenciaga just got canceled. They can't come for you. Balenciaga police ain't going to bust in here. Don't worry, I'm here.
Yeah.
If they come in, I'll deal with them. It's fine. I'll take them out. You can say right now that they're trying to tell you they're pedophilic because they are. They did it on purpose. They've done it across multiple different advertising campaigns with multiple hints per advertising campaign, trying to show you they're pedophilic. And the fact that you guys will still sit here and go, I'm not sure.
We agree on that.
Is that
say they're pedophiles. Say Balenciaga are a pedophile. Say it. Say the word.
Balenciaga, you are a very bad person.
No, they are. And they're doing it on purpose because they're satanic. They're trying to destroy the baseline morality inside of humans, because once you do that, the slave programming has no resistance. Even things that you know intrinsically are wrong, like pedophilia, for example.
Yeah.
You know it's intrinsically wrong, but they're deliberately trying to attack your senses and make you sit and question yourself and go, well, maybe it's not so wrong. If they can convince you that having sex with children who have no consent to give is somehow acceptable, then they can convince you of anything. They can convince you to kill your fellow man, convince you to lock yourself in your house because of the common cold, convince you to work a job for no money, own nothing, and be happy and eat the bugs. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
And they're doing it on purpose, and they're attacking our senses, and it's extremely important we call them out and make it clear that we know what they're doing, and we're not stupid enough to fall for it. You guys cannot be afraid to sit here and say the truth.
We're against that, 100%.
But you have to say it
no,
clearly.
But it's just that, sometimes we just wonder, what was the reason? Was it really on
because
purpose?
They're satanic. Of course it was on purpose.
That's the thing. That's always been a question, because sometimes I've seen working with a lot of people can be super hard. So obviously, look, I don't know what the logistics of the whole company was, but obviously I'm totally upset to see what happened as well.
You don't accidentally include port papers from child pornography
that
cases
was quite
in
shocking.
multiple photo shoots.
Yeah.
You don't accidentally include references to Baal, a god which ate children, in multiple photo shoots. You don't accidentally include works of art that show children naked dancing around fires in multiple photo shoots. You don't accidentally put bondage gear with children on accident across multiple photo shoots. The odds of that being a statistical accident, you're better off. You can win the lottery. That's ridiculous. It was on purpose, completely satanic. They did it specifically, and they did it to show you and tell you what they're doing. One, because they're trying to assault your senses, and two, because if you actually understand the truth of Satanism, most people don't know this about the world. If you understand how Satanists work and think, Satanists believe in karmic retribution. They don't believe they're allowed to trick you. If you believe in Satan, if you worship Satan, if you're a Satanist, you believe it's important you tell people what you're going to do, because then you will not pay the price. There'll be no karmic retribution for your actions. So let me give you an example. If I sell poison apples and I put up a sign saying apples and you buy one and you die, then you were poisoned. If I sell poison apples and I put up a sign saying poison apples and then you buy one and you die, you committed suicide. The fact that I told you what it was means I'm not guilty. I didn't murder you. You committed suicide. So when you do bad things, when you do evil things, the Satanist handbook, you can look this up yourself, the satanic religion says you have to make it clear to them what you're doing. And if they don't resist, if they don't stand up against it, then they are complicit. They're agreeing that what's happening is okay. So by telling you they're pedophiles and nobody do anything about it, they could sit there and go, well, everyone knew we're pedophiles. Look, it's obvious we're pedophiles and nobody cares. Which is also why it's so important we call them out. You can't sit here and be wishy-washy on some issues. You have to sit here and say, this is disgusting. These are children. They're being exploited. Balenciaga are pedophiles. It should be canceled absolutely with certain language. Both of you have very large profiles and platforms.
But
say it. Say the fact. Balenciaga are pedophiles. Repeat after me. Balenciaga are pedophiles.
Yo, but what about... Okay, fine.
Why will no one say it?
Okay,
What's the fear?
The people who did that are pedophiles.
Balenciaga are pedophiles. Fuck Balenciaga. They can come in the door right now. There's not a single person who works for Balenciaga couldn't rip their head off their shoulders.
Do you believe, in number one, second chances, but also that cancel culture? Because a lot of people said, for example, Andrew Tate is a misogynist. He doesn't like this. He agrees with rape.
There's no second chances for pedophiles. There's no second chances for Satanists.
No, but the thing is,
but don't you think, not misunderstanding, but let's say a lot of people...
If I know that the main person who did that, then yes, I will literally say you're a pedophile, and I would totally hate that person.
They've done it repeatedly across their entire advertising campaign. What more do you want?
But the thing is, can I be honest with you? The first time I saw it, I didn't pay attention to it. I saw it.
The people that did it, they knew.
I saw a teddy bear. I swear down. When I saw, I couldn't even. I didn't realize.
Yeah, low-key, I'm gonna be 100%.
I just saw a teddy bear with some straps. I was like,
what
is that? I didn't even know. Some people don't know.
But the people that did it obviously probably knew. Yeah, they knew.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't know.
Anyways, moving on. We don't care about Balenciaga right now. This whole cancel culture, obviously you said Balenciaga should be cancelled, but do you agree with they should be cancelled?
This is crimes. Okay, so this is not cancelled.
But do you think they deserve a second chance?
This is crime. That's like saying somebody's cancelled for murder or rape.
No,
this is a crime.
Yes.
They're committing a crime. And they're elites which see themselves beyond reprehension. They're elites that see themselves beyond the law. We understand that the Western world is completely corrupt from head to toe. There's private islands where terrible things happen. These private islands are in close leagues with people who are running these fashion brands. This is absolutely disgusting. With children are being exploited, lives are being ruined.
Yeah.
They're trying to show you, because they worship Satan, what they're doing, and they're trying to tell the world what they're doing so they don't face any repercussion for it. They're also trying to assault your consciousness and destroy your baseline morality to make a slave of you. This is beyond cancel culture.
Absolutely.
This is not some simple bullshit. This is a big deal.
Cancel, and like when you're 100%, no, that's what I believe in. Like,
so you said obviously this is a controlled thing. The whole like whatever industry is controlled, and is that like kind of like a? I want to get onto the topic of Illuminati. So you have the Matrix.
Yeah.
Is that different from the Illuminati?
Well, Illuminati is a name for it. The Matrix is a name for it. There's a lot of different names for it. But the simple version is there's people with a lot of influence and control which are interested in controlling the narrative and working with their friends.
Okay, this is going to be something I genuinely think about these things.
Sure.
How do I know Andrew Tate is not part of the Illuminati?
You have to look at the things I'm saying. If you believe I'm part of the agenda that's being pushed by the Matrix itself, then that could be argued because I am the most Googled man in the world. I'm super famous. I have massive influence. I think the number one way to prove I'm not is because I'm going against all the mainstream ideals. I'm going against the things they want.
But if Andrew Tate was part of the Matrix, wouldn't that be exactly what he says to get us on board with him?
So in the holy book, where I read the Quran, it says that sometimes, okay, look, I'm not saying anything bad about you.
I respect the Quran. I'm listening.
I'm just saying, like, they said that the devil came to deceive the people by acting good and then suddenly switched it up later.
Yeah, the devil was once an angel.
I'm not saying you're a devil. So I'm just telling you what I read in the Quran. That's it.
Don't talk about Obama that way. It's fine. What's happening is, listen, I don't think I'm necessarily a smooth talker in that regard. I am a smooth talker, but I'm certainly not trying to convince people and push them down the traditional route that the Matrix is trying to lay out for people. I'm doing the absolute opposite. So you have to understand that if you see me as an agent of the Matrix, then you must see that all these other ideals they're pushing as anti-Matrix. Me and the things I'm saying are completely against mainstream culture in most ways. We can't both be pushing in the same direction. So you have to choose one. If you believe that I'm the bad and that the mainstream media and their culture is good when they're trying to convince children to chop their dicks off and Balenciaga and pedophilia and all the insanity which is on the news, if you believe that's the good and I'm the bad, that's your prerogative completely. But I would argue that it's completely the opposite way around. It's obvious to see.
I mean, I think that'd be the next wave of like taking control, because obviously that era was there, you know, like, all right, blah blah, like you said, brainwashing with everything. But wouldn't the next level be get a bunch of people, show how bad it is, and then bam? Because I would, like, let's say if I'm someone that's controlled by the Matrix, I would now listen to you.
Good. And here we are. We're saving the world. This is it. We're good. We're here. We're saving the world. That's exactly what happened, which is why they tried to cancel me. They tried to cancel me not because of what I say, because of my mass influence, because I was extremely influential, and they tried to destroy me and delete me, because if you have mass influence and you say things which talk against their agendas, they don't like it.
I have a question. So what would it take for us to overcome that? Like right now, let's say everyone watching this is listening to Andrew Tate.
Like
we wanna fight the system.
Okay.
What would we have to do collectively to win?
All right, good question. So I truly believe that people still run the world because we decide how much we tolerate.
Yeah.
And we're unfortunately too tolerant of too much garbage, but we still do have control over the world. On an individual level, I can tell people how to escape the Matrix, but on a societal level, it's far more complicated, because the unfortunate reality is not everybody can escape. Yeah. You need some people to believe in the system completely, because if everybody didn't believe in the system, then society would break down. Nobody would want to do some bullshit job, right?
Yeah.
It would all be gone. But as a whole, people certainly need to learn to reject the slave mind and reject the information that is told to them from the news and understand that's all a lie. People need to stand up for the obvious injustices they see. They need to state in clear language that Balenciaga are pedophiles, for example. That's very important for humanity, for it's clear. It's important that they control your speech, because you're not going to think what you don't say. And this is how they control what people think, by controlling what people say in the first place. So that's very important. But on an individual level and on a societal level, they're different things. On an individual level, I think it's very important for you to be a sovereign individual, which is hard to do, especially in the modern world, but you need to have finances. It's hard to be free when you're broke. That finance needs to be in places or come from streams which can't be affected or canceled or turned off by the Matrix machine. You need to be financially free. You need a strong network. You need good friends. You need to be anti-fragile. You need to be available to travel around the world, many passports. There's a whole bunch of things you can set up as an individual. But for the people watching at home, they just need to sit and understand that the system does not make rules for the good of you. It makes rules for the good of the people who make the rules. And a lot of the life paths and systematic processes that are laid out to the average man at home today is not for their own good. It's only going to lead them to depression and misery. It's for the good of the system.
But so you said globally, there's no way to overcome the matrix. Like, that's the thing I'm trying to get at. What are we trying to do? What's the end goal?
It's not globally. There's no way to overcome the matrix. I'm saying society would actually function better if some people do believe. So I'll give you an example during COVID, right? When I was walking around during COVID and I saw all these people wearing masks, I was flabbergasted that anybody gave a shit about any of this crap.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe people were wearing masks.
Yeah.
I was like, why are you wearing a mask? But then you have to understand that if these people who can be so easily convinced to muzzle themselves, these are the exact same people you need to do a whole bunch of important roles in society that people who are free-minded don't want to do.
Yeah.
You need people inside the matrix to be soldiers and go die in a ditch, right? You need people inside the matrix to stand in a gas station and really care about mopping that floor. So you need these kind of people, right? So, and you're saying, what are we trying to do? What we're trying to do is speak to the sovereign individuals or the people who are capable of having a free mind and help them escape. Just like in the movie The Matrix, Morpheus says, not everybody can escape. Yeah. Not everybody can. Most people are dependent on the system. They'll fight to defend it. But some people have their minds ready to be freed.
But do you think,
and that's who I'm talking to.
Do you think ultimately, like, what I'd say, what I understand from you is you just think we definitely need a system, but maybe we just need new people in charge of that matrix system?
You need checks and balances. We definitely need a system. Every system of control is always going to be full of lies. They're always going to lie to us to a degree to benefit themselves. You're never going to have absolute freedom. You're never going to have absolute truth. But you do need checks and balances to that system. To prevent complete tyranny, you need a contingent of people who are free, who fight back and talk against the matrix. People like me, people who support me, those who are particularly free thinking. Those are the people you need to keep some kind of power balance in place. Yeah. If I didn't exist and people who thought like me didn't exist and nobody spoke up, then it would just be absolute tyranny. And then Balenciaga could just be pedophiles forever. There have to be people to stand up and say no and push back. Yeah. In life, it doesn't matter where. In life, if there's no checks and balances, if there's no equal and opposite force, everything becomes tyrannical.
So do you think money is power?
I think money is related to power, but in and of itself, it's not the only thing that makes somebody powerful. No. But just on the checks, and I'll answer that in more detail in a second, but on the checks and balances question, if the ocean doesn't reach a point of equal and opposite force, it will just engulf the entire planet, right? There has to be an equal and opposite force at some point. I'm not talking about freeing every single person from the matrix. I'm talking about freeing enough people who are ready to understand how the world really works so that there's an equal and opposite force to the tirade of bullshit, the absolute clown world bullshit they're trying to push on all of us. If nobody stands up to it, we're going to end up just fucking swallowing it all. Yeah. It's garbage. So you need to have an equal army on the other side. Those are my people. I don't work for the Matrix. I'm the opposite. I'm Morpheus. I'm here to free the minds. We're the free people who hack into the Matrix and fight against the agents and the machines. As for money being power, money is certainly related to power, but the true power of the world is influence. I am currently one of the most powerful people on the planet. I can influence millions and millions and millions of young people with my mouth alone by speaking. That's why they fear me. That's what my power is. I can sit here and say the sky is green. And if I say it enough, people will begin to believe it. That's power. Power is influence. And every single thing that's happening in the world today, whether it's a pitched battle in Ukraine and Russia, whether it's the garbage they put on the news, whether it's the video you watch on YouTube, all of it is done with the goal of exerting influence on your mind. They're trying to control what you think. They're trying to control why you think it, why you believe it. They're trying to convince you that they haven't even put propaganda into your mind. And it's all a battle for influence. That's all this has ever been. Yeah. It's all been a battle for influence. So me having mass influence is a threat to them because they can sit there and say, you need your 8th booster jab. Yeah. And I can say that's bullshit. And we have two armies, two battles of influence against each other.
Maybe one of the solutions is to just step away from media sometimes, like a lot of the times.
You just lose power at that point.
No, just to like get grounded, in life and just be more focused.
Yeah, well, it's not just media, right? Because if the media convinces everybody else, then it becomes real. You can step away from media during COVID, but you walk outside, everyone had a mask on, so you're still stuck, right? So yeah, I agree. It's good to step away from media, think for yourself, etc. But most people are not smart enough. Most people are not intelligent enough to self-analyze and defrag their own brains and understand they're being programmed. Yeah. Most people do not have that level of intellect to sit there and say, every strongly held opinion that I have, where did it come from? Who told me it? And do they have my best interests at heart? You didn't like me, for example. No, it's fine. I actually find it's great for me to make points. So I'm glad you didn't like me. I don't like Andrew Tate. Why? Well, they told me not to like him. Who told me? Well, these people. Do they care about me? No. Like, most people don't get an opinion and break down where it even comes from. They just get an opinion and they defend it. And you'll see people arguing and fighting in the street over opinions they don't even know where they've come from in the first place. Most people are not intelligent enough for that. So everybody and everything you consume is going to influence you to a degree. The mass media machine is trying to influence everyone. I'm trying to influence everyone.
Yeah.
I'm right here trying to influence people. I'll sit here and say, I'm trying to influence people at home. I just like to think that those at home understand, yeah, Tate's influencing me, but he is living a life I want to live. He has better intentions. He has a purer heart than the mass media machine and the pedophiles of Balenciaga.
But, okay, I'll let Lana say it. I don't think she hated you because of what others said. I think it was because of what you said.
Can I come through, please?
Sure.
Can I say?
I mean, Lana, I want you to be 100% honest.
Tell me what's wrong. Go on, say.
I was a number one crazy fan about you.
She liked you at first.
I really liked you a lot. Okay, and I still do. But you know what happened was there were certain things you said.
Okay.
About women.
Okay.
And that triggered me.
I understand.
And you know, when it hits you personally, it feels like, whoa, I feel like he's saying this about me.
Just say, what did he say? Just say, it's fine.
He was saying that women above a certain age are basically useless. And I was like, yo, I've been at home most of my life. I pretty much had one relationship for 8 years, and I barely did anything, and my mom even knows that. And I was like, now every guy in the world is gonna think that people
That's a good point.
My age are horrible people.
No. Let's stop for a second. So no, that's a good point, but let's get it in context. I did not say that girls above a certain age are horrible people. Yeah. I did not say girls above a certain age are useless. I said girls above a certain age are less attractive than girls who are younger because of innocence. Now you're particularly innocent, but you're also you're in a very good family and a very good culture in the best country in the world. I'm talking about the Western world. And in the Western world, there's no girl at age, 32 in Las Vegas who is pure. Not a single one on the planet. So we can't sit here and apply what I'm talking about for the Western world to the Middle Eastern world. That's the first thing. Second thing, we can't say I'm saying women are horrible when I'm not saying that. I'm talking about the attractiveness of women. And thirdly, I'm not going to sit here and lie to people, and nobody else should sit at home and lie and pretend that innocence is not attractive in females. Men find innocent women attractive. This is why virginity is coveted. This is why you've protected yourself and made sure you've stayed a good woman. This is why all good women do the exact same thing. And in the Western world, as time goes on, women lose their innocence pretty quickly. I'm not going to sit here and say that's not the case, because it's absolutely and utterly the case. It's fact.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to try and get through a bunch of stuff because I have so many questions for you. Has anyone tried to kill you?
I'd like to think no, but perhaps I'm just very good at thwarting their attempts. Maybe I'm just hard to catch. There's certainly been some interesting situations, but I'm not going to talk about them here on the podcast. I'm under attack every single day. They're attacking my character. They're attacking my integrity. They're attacking my finances. They're attacking my freedom. They're attacking my companies. Every single day I wake up and there are people on the planet whose goal is to attempt to destroy me. So I am under attacks.
All right. Now, I heard somewhere you bought a bank.
That's a payment processing for the real world. I also have to be very careful how I answer some of these questions, because if I give too many details,
it might mess up the deal.
Well, it destroys my power, right? So for the real world, when I was attacked by the mass matrix machine, they also attacked Hustlers University, which was my online school that teaches people how to make money online. We have 18 modern wealth creation methods. We teach everything from the things you know about crypto, stocks, copywriting, etc., to some ideas people have never heard of. Yeah. We grew exceptionally large. We had people who were making a lot of money inside the school. We had 150,000 students. So when they canceled me, they also tried to attack my business. They deleted the payment processing, deleted the banking, etc. So when we've relaunched as the real world, escape the matrix, come to the real world.
Is it launched now?
It's launched, therealworld.ai. It's now fully online. It's fully functioning. We have 161,000 people. We have completely built our own app, our own social media platform. It's not hosted anywhere else. It's not on Amazon servers. It's not on Google servers.
How do you make money now? Because obviously you said the payment processor, you have your own payment. Right?
I have my own bank, which has a payment processor included. So absolutely everything about the system is outside of the matrix. From the second you pay to the place you end up where you're talking to people and taking lessons, none of it is controlled by matrix control platforms. It is absolutely the real world, which means I control it completely. I cannot be censored, and we teach people how to make money.
All right, now I want to go back. What was your first job?
I worked in a fish market carrying boxes of fish.
Do you remember how much that paid you?
Fish. I think I was making 25 pounds a day. So I'd start at 7 a.m. and I'd carry boxes until about 5 p.m.
And when was the first time you actually made some money?
I was kind of up and down. I was working in the fish market, but I was still fighting at the same time. I was training. Obviously, I was really young. started to make a little bit of money fighting, but not much. And then I had different jobs. I sold television advertising and worked for an advertising company, etc. And I had my own business for a while trying to sell TV advertising. And I had a bunch of sales jobs back and forth, worked for car sales. I'd always been doing this and that, going from place to place. Unless it was a sales job, I never really took it that seriously because it was the unlimited commission that I found attractive. But outside of sales jobs, I just did my very best to do a little bit of work and just sit at my desk and ignore most of it. But I did a whole bunch of things. It's been an eclectic, long, interesting journey to end up where I am.
So I heard somewhere you said at 27, you made your first million.
Around 27, 28, yeah. I'd say by 30, I may have had maybe 10, which now to me seems ridiculously low, but at the time I was super proud of that. I'm now 36. If you Google my net worth, it comes up at 350 million, and that's certainly very low.
Right now, what is your net worth?
It's a lot more than what they say it is on Google at 350 million.
I'm
the most influential person on the planet.
So 350 million is
low. Let's talk about this, right? Because net worth in and of itself is bullshit. Because how do you quantify net worth? It's nearly impossible.
It's a valuation, right?
It's a valuation, and the valuations are all skewed. I am certainly worth more than $1 billion. I can tell you why. One, for the things I own, which I'm not going to say here on camera, right?
Yeah.
Which is a bunch of it. Two, for the companies I have and the amount of money they generate. Once again, I won't say on camera because nobody would believe me even if I told them. But third, what were we saying earlier in this podcast? We were talking about how the most important thing on the planet is power, not money. It's influence. I'm the most influential person on the planet amongst the number one demographic that the Matrix wants control over, which is military-age males. I can talk and people will listen. I'm the most Googled name on the planet. I could take a perfume and sell $1 billion of perfume in a month. If I wanted to sell my soul, which I've never done because I've never sold trash to anybody. I've never sold a crypto pump and dump like everybody else has. I've never sold any shit to nobody. Yeah. All I sell is my university because it's fantastic and I can stick by it and it has 5-star reviews all over Google. So I don't sell shit to anybody, but I could pump a crypto coin to billions of dollars. I could do anything for any brand. And the number of brands who have come to me trying to make me align with them, and I've said no because I don't truly believe in it. I'm the kind of person who can't be bought. You cannot buy my soul. If I don't truly believe, I won't sell it to anybody. I am 100% with the amount of influence I have. And how do you quantify influence from a net worth perspective? How do you take the most Googled man in the world who has the most influence on the planet? How do you put that into dollars? It's difficult.
I'd say how much money you're making now, potential 10 exit approximately.
Bro, I'm a billionaire.
You're a billionaire.
100%.
Talking about crypto, would you ever make your own crypto coin?
I love crypto, right? It's great. Bitcoin, ETH, go transact across country borders, blah, blah. It's fantastic. I've made some money on a pump. Everyone loves a pump. The problem with crypto is that it's player versus player.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand this about crypto. And it's actually very funny because when people launch these crypto coins, they get these Telegram groups and they get these communities. And you go into community and everyone in the community is like, yeah, we're all going to make it together. Da-da. And I look at these communities, I'm like, no. Those are your competitors. Those people are who's going to buy it when you sell it for more than you bought it for.
Yeah.
Like, you're all against each other. So they try this community crap so the person at the top can just dump on them. The truth is about crypto is it's player versus player. If I buy a coin for $1, the only reason I can sell it for $10 is because someone else buys it for 10.
Yeah.
It can't go up forever. The guy who buys it at 10 is going to lose eventually. So if I launch a crypto coin, I have to understand that a percentage of the people who buy it, a percentage of my fans are going to lose money in my name. I don't like the idea of people losing money in my name. Now, I'm not saying I would never launch a coin. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that this is my reservation on the whole thing because I know if somebody joins my university and works hard, even if they only make $300 a month, for example, it only costs them $50 a month. So they make more money than they invest. Nobody can lose by associating with my brand. Yeah. This is why my brand's so powerful. Everybody who is a Tate fan and truly listens to my words is in better physical shape, better financial shape, better mental health than they've ever been in their lives. Yeah. Becoming a Tate fan is a life hack to improving your life. You cannot possibly lose by listening to me in any regard. Yeah. Whereas with a crypto coin, some people will lose money. And I can't sleep at night knowing that my fans lose money. I don't want that. I'm not a scammer. I'm not one of these. I'm not Logan Paul. I don't sell crypto pump and dumps. I'm not a piece of shit. I want everybody who's associated with me to win and only win. So for that reason, I would be extremely hesitant about launching a crypto coin. And the day I do it, if I decide to do it, there's going to be a lot of checks and balances and absolute transparency to make sure that nobody loses money.
Maybe a stable coin.
Perhaps. We have NFTs now. So at topg.com, we have an experiment in which you can get a free NFT with a piece of merch, and we do limited runs of merch. We do like 100 t-shirts and they sell out with really quickly. And if you buy the t-shirt, you get a free NFT, and the NFTs are completely free and they've already got a floor price and they're already starting to be traded for a lot of money. So people are getting free NFTs in my name with merchandise. We're doing that. And I'll do that because the NFT is free. So nobody can ever say they lost because you
they
got
bought
it free.
Yeah.
You got it free and you sold it for $500. You win, right?
Yeah.
So we're doing that with the merchandise. The coin I'm thinking about, but all in all, my biggest intention is to expand the university and by extension expand the war room on the top of that, which is my private network. And those two things are things that nobody can possibly ever lose from.
Do you invest money?
Yes. A large diversified portfolio.
A lot of people know you for being rich.
Yeah.
You know, what color is your Bugatti? You know, you have a Bugatti, which I'm very sad you didn't come in next time.
Sorry, bro.
How many cars do you have?
33 as of today, I believe.
33 cars.
Yes.
Okay. How many Ferraris?
I had an 812, which is it's the best Ferrari, hands down. I had a 458, and then I've just bought an 812 competition. So that's 3.
3 Ferraris.
Yes.
How many Lamborghinis?
Lamborghini Huracan Evo, 1.
Where's the other 30? Like, how?
All right, okay, so I have an Aston Martin DBS and an Aston Martin Vanquish S. I've got an M5 competition. I've got a Brabus S63. I've got 3 McLaren 765 LTs.
Yeah.
I've got 3 of them. These are on order. They haven't been delivered yet. I've got an Aston Martin Valhalla on the way. I've got a Koenigsegg Jesko on the way.
Ooh.
I've got a Rimac Navara on the way. I've got an MC20 on the way. I've got 2 GT4 RSs. I've got a GT3 RS on the way, a new one. I've got...
Are you going to buy another Bugatti?
But the Pure Sport's the only good one. I don't like the others.
Devo? No?
It's the same engine, same gearbox.
Okay, so
I could, maybe.
so your favorite car is obviously the Bugatti.
No,
Yeah,
no,
like in your top
likes
car, right?
I like it, but it's,
But-
yeah.
So, but like, let's say, so obviously you love the supercar, but if there's like a regular car, like would it be like that's opposite to the supercar that you like your regular,
Toyota.
you know?
No, yeah. I'm either driving a supercar or I like to be driven. I'd rather be on the
Actually,
phone.
you said one thing one time. You compared women to cars, or men to cars, I think. And it was like, you know, when you're driving a supercar, it's unreliable but great.
Yeah.
But if you drive a Toyota or a Nissan, whatever, they're
Yeah.
reliable.
Yeah.
So what's your take on that?
It was just giving an example, and I was trying to explain that in the world we live in, as beautiful and diverse as it is, there is no such thing as a benefit without obviously an equal and opposite force, which is going to be a downside. So the benefit of a supercar is that it's a very high performance and it's very good looking and it comes with a lot of status. But the downside is, of course, the cost and the reliability.
Yeah.
And it's less functional overall than a less beautiful car. And the point I was trying to make is that if you want a very high status, flashy man, he's going to come with some downsides. There's going to be some detriment to that.
Yeah.
Same with a beautiful woman, right? If you get a beautiful woman, beautiful women have bad tempers because they get to, because they're beautiful and everyone puts up with them. So it's just how it goes, right? So if you want to have a really beautiful car, if you have a McLaren, it's going to break down sometimes. If you don't want your car to ever break down, then you have to sacrifice the speed and the looks and go for a Toyota and you get something more reliable.
Okay, last thing, because obviously I want to move on from the money side of things. How many houses do you own or property?
A bunch.
Plus over 10?
Over 10.
Under 50?
Under 50, yeah.
Okay. What's the most expensive house you bought? Do you know?
13, 14.
Million? All right. So you moved to Dubai.
Yeah.
I heard you are about to make a very big property purchase.
Really?
And this is obviously, I don't know if I'm allowed, guys. I know Andrew, I know his friends kind of thing.
Yeah.
I heard, let's say it could be a ridiculous property. Are you maybe?
I'm interested. I'm looking. We'll
All right.
see how it goes.
So obviously you became Muslim. You used to be an atheist.
Yeah.
How did that whole like change happen?
Well, first from atheism, the first thing you have to do is accept that God is real. So I got there by seeing and being exposed to all the evil and degeneracy in the world. There's an equal and opposite force, Newton's third law.
Yeah.
For everything, there's an equal and opposite reaction. The equal and opposite reaction to pure satany and debauchery and disgusting degeneracy has to be God, which proves that God must exist. I guess I naturally reverted to Christianity because I was raised as a Christian when I was a child and I was living in a Christian country, but I always had a very healthy respect for Islam. Even for many years, I was talking about how much I respect Islam. And then over time, you understand that for you to truly worship and believe in a religion, you have to respect the religion. And I had more respect for Islam than I ever had for Christianity. And that's where you ended up becoming a Muslim. Now I'm certainly not an Islamic scholar by any regard. I don't want to be, since I've reverted, a lot of people ask me very detailed questions. I'm on a journey like everybody else. I'm new to this, like everybody else. I'm not here to quote the Quran. I don't understand a lot of it yet. I'm just studying like everybody else is. But I have a very healthy respect for the belief system, and that's why I understood it's the place for me to be.
But how did you learn? Like, did someone teach you? Did you have Islamic friends, or I'm curious.
Yes, I've always had Islamic friends. So I grew up in the Islamic Republic of Great Britistan. So I understand that.
What?
Yeah. You've never heard of it?
No, I've
No?
not. The Great Republic of
The Islamic Republic of Great Britistan.
Britistan.
Yeah,
Hey, never heard of that one.
Londonistan is its capital.
Yeah.
So I grew up in an Islamic country, effectively. Everybody I knew was Muslim, and England is an Islamic country now de facto. It's completely Islamic. So I grew up with a bunch of very close Muslim friends, and I've always been not envious, but certainly I've had a large amount of adoration for their respect for their families, respect for their culture, their brotherhood, the way they operate. I've always thought it's a fantastic way to be.
Yeah.
And it's been a very long, ongoing conversation. I've been exposed to the religion and people who were Muslim for a very long time, my entire life.
Now, since you become a Muslim, have you stopped drinking alcohol?
Yes. I might drink a little bit now and again. But I don't think I'll ever drink again.
A lot of people nowadays, and this is something that kind of saddens me, but it's one of those things you can't just say, here's the wrong. But I feel like a lot of people nowadays are becoming Muslim for publicity.
Who would you say a lot of people?
And I've just it's one of those things where you get a feeling, and not, in your case, not really, because like whatever people saw it, but not really. But like you see a lot of people, like the first thing they do, like
But
the second they're trying to convert is like a whole like
Yeah,
vlog process and like videos. And the thing I hate about it is because let's say when you became Muslim, you were talking good about Islam previously.
Yes.
And I see people that do it in like a very comedic way, and they still don't respect it after they become Muslim.
Yeah.
So
I know, and that's terrible. I don't know I can't think of anybody who's specifically done that. But if that's happening, then yeah, it's absolutely disrespectful. But God knows the truth of our hearts, right?
Yeah.
So I know that my reversion is sincere. I understand that because I'm in the public eye, there's going to be some degree of people who question it, but I know that mine's completely sincere. And the people who do it in a non-sincere way, God knows the truth, and they're not going to be able to fool him. So good luck.
But I personally, I support it.
No,
you
definitely.
Showing it, you know why? Because already the internet is so polluted with so
I
much
like
shit.
it. It's the way you show it as well. It was a good way.
I'd rather see that
No,
than
definitely it was a
something
good way.
else like the.
Well, what's actually funny is that it was me and a really good friend of mine, Tam Khan, and we were in the mosque, and he was teaching me how to pray because I didn't know exactly how to do it. He was teaching me, and the video was recorded. Like, we didn't ask for it to be recorded. We didn't think, oh, this is a good way to do publicity. And anything you ever see of me in a mosque, you will never catch me or my friends with a camera. We're not recording anything. We're just going. And then obviously this is what happens. People put me on TikTok. There's thousands of people there. And
But if you think about it, this is how the kids are learning now. So obviously for
Better
you
to
guys
teach them to pray than something else.
For you guys to do that, honestly, it takes a lot of guys, and obviously we do know people are going to immediately start attacking or judging, but how else can you convey a message to when the little kids' eyes are on the internet now? Back in the days that we barely had iPads or phones. Now they do, so at least let them see that.
Completely. And someone else said to me, they said that it's important that someone like you that has all of the worldly treasures or everything that you could possibly ever wish for in this world still understands the importance